Now I'd like to invite Mr. Rajat to come on a stage and give a memento to give Harshardhan a memento. Okay, thank you. Our next speaker is Dr. Manoj Gandhi, who is a gastrointestinal and obesity surgeon, director of Dr. Gandhi's Nursing Home, who is a secretary of Bombay Nursing Home Association and specialized consulting in medico-legal cases, TPAs and hospital management. So his topic for today is healthcare insurance. Can it be responsive and profitable?
If you have, it's fine. Good afternoon, everybody. I heard Dr. Hegde speaking about outsourcing, and I'm going to speak on profitability of the hospital through the insurance. I'm sure everybody would be happy about hearing that hospital can actually make profits. But provided we streamline the process, whether it's a smaller hospital or a major hospital, and we should know what we are going to outsource. Health insurance is a type of insurance offered by private insurance companies or the government insurance companies that cover healthcare expenses incurred by policyholders for necessary medical care. It's a critical component of financial planning for an individual or a corporate. Here I am working in a smaller hospital, which is just a 15-bedded hospital, where I treat patients through insurance, without insurance, individual patients, corporate patients, and a few international patients also. And I've seen a huge variation in the approach to each type of patient. I'm sure there are people from Nova, Dr. Hegde, who would have had an experience about treating all types of patients. The question over here is, do we really have to change our approach? Or is a small hospital supposed to work the way the major corporate hospitals are working? Can the smaller hospital look towards profit? Do they really need to make profits? What is health insurance? It's a contract between the insurer and the insured wherein the former agrees to pay to the latter hospitalization expenses to the extent of an agreed sum insured in the event of any medical treatment out of an illness or an injury. In the layman's language, the health insurance is a policy which covers you and your family against medical expenses due to sickness, accident. The insured in return has to pay a regular premium to the insurer. Now, this is in case of an individual policy holder, where the individual pays the premium for his own health. And he understands that whatever is my medical expenses, it should be reimbursed by the insurance company, but that is not true. In case of corporate patients, the corporate companies either deduct the premiums from the pay of the employees, or it is shared and the insurance company is paid by the corporates. Cost of providing healthcare is rising. I'm sure everybody would be agreeing to that. Your health insurance decision is not whether to obtain it, but which health plan to purchase and how much coverage to purchase. Many options are available. Here I would not be speaking on what are the options or what are the insurance companies, because I'm sure everybody is aware that there are primarily two major players, the government insurance companies and the private insurance companies. And there's a huge difference in the working pattern of the government insurance companies and the private insurance companies. Options for purchasing healthcare insurance, as I told earlier, that many employers offer health insurance as part of their benefit package. Policy cost usually shared between employee and employee. Self-employed individuals must pay entire cost of their health insurance individual policy. These are certain international terms and norms which are coming into picture over here in the Indian insurance sector, like managed healthcare plan and health maintenance organizations. In India, what has recently come into play by the government insurance companies and even some of the private insurance companies is a preferred provider network. Here, the health insurance plan that allows individuals to select a healthcare provider and covers most of the fees for the services. Now, the basic, I've been given this topic to let us know whether health insurance, can it be responsive? Responsible is a word added by me, and whether it can be profitable. Now, who should be responsive? Insurance company, oblique TPA, individual patient, corporate, or the doctor and the hospital. If we take the dictionary meaning of the word responsive, it's readily reacting or replying to people or events or stimuli showing emotion. Does emotion really play a role in insurance? It only plays a role where the patient's treatment is considered by the doctor. When we begin with responsiveness, at your doorstep when the patient comes, primarily at a smaller hospital, the submission of correct documents to the hospital, how early and whose responsibility. Many a times you will be seeing that the patients don't have their policy documents. They don't have their ID cards. Are they supposed to carry them whenever they get ill? But yes, true, they have to carry them. There is no choice. When they are going to a hospital, they have to carry the documents with them. And if they don't submit the documents on time, probably the insurance companies might not approve the claims. They will say you delayed the processing because the papers have not been submitted on time. Many a times the hospital has all their documents ready, like the medical notes, the RMO notes, the investigations also probably within 24 hours are ready in most of the hospitals, at least the basic initial investigations. But till that time, the documents are not submitted. And as a doctor, individual doctor running a smaller setup, you are forced to give treatment to these kind of patients and still wait for them to submit the documents. Sometimes the insurance agents have the policy copies and they have not provided it to their own patients. So, the beginning of the responsiveness starts from there itself. Are we supposed to wait for the documents for the treatment, or we have to just start with the treatment? The laws are becoming so stringent nowadays that, you know, an ophthalmologist is also supposed to handle a cardiac emergency at his daycare center. And these are going to come into play, especially in Maharashtra, when the Maharashtra Clinical Establishment Act is going to come into picture. Health insurance responsiveness from the insurance company and TPA. I have put here 5 headings as to the process involved by the insurance company or per se the TPA, where there is no in-house TPA by the insurance company. TPA is obviously an outsourced activity. The basic problem starts from the interactive voice response that we get from all these insurance companies or TPAs, that half of the time it's all the non-medicos or even 12th pass candidates sitting at the TPA counters who do not know the medical language and expect the secretarial staff or the RMOs to give them the entire briefing once the papers are faxed. If there's some query, what is to be told to them. But the point is that whenever there is a medical query which is not understood by the other side, either the insurance company or the TPA, to get access to the doctor's team is extremely impossible. You have to sit hours and hours on the telephone, wasting your clinical time to get across just to make them understand that this is what it means. They have been given a very clear answer to tell all the hospitals. Insurance companies have devised a word called as under process. So till the call center people have some answer on their software or on their system, the answer is always going to be under process. What does that mean? Nobody knows. We have seen, at least that's my personal experience, that nowadays at least the processing has improved. The initial approvals, which used to take sometimes 24, 48 hours, have now reduced, especially in the with the private insurance companies, have come down to 6 hours and 8 hours. The final approval also is important, but many a times it is delayed for 2-3 things. One is mismatch in the pre-authorization request and the mismatch in the final discharge card. And second is differential billings. Here, who is to be blamed? The hospital, the insurance company? Nobody knows. Because we have seen that the insurance companies have not updated the rate list also many a times at their own softwares. And they, unless that is updated in their own software, they are not going to approve it. So even if the hospital has submitted its updated rate list, and if it's not updated at the software of the insurance company or a TPA, then you will not get that kind of an approval. So there are delays in each process, and then again the claim settlement. Now here I beg to differ that when the initial approval is done, when the final approval is done, why should there be a delay in the claim settlement? The insurance company is already aware of the amount that is going to go out for this particular claim settlement. I don't know how many people have dealt with private insurance companies over here, but the processing of claims by certain private insurance companies is phenomenal, and hospitals are being paid in 3 days, 4 days, 7 days also. Why that processing cannot be implemented in each and every insurance company, I really don't know. Again, when a particular amount has been approved, why the deductions? Initially, I think 2-3 years back, everybody was hearing about deductions happening. And where is that amount to be gathered from? Here there's a difference between a major hospital and a smaller hospital. All the major hospitals take certain amount of deposits. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Most of the hospitals take some amount of deposit, but at a smaller hospital level, where it's individual one-to-one relationship between the doctor and the patient, most of the time the patient's treatments are started, papers are processed, and sometimes the deposits are even forgotten to be taken. So in the end, whatever approval has come is either accepted or difference is collected from the patient. But suppose, as per the bill, everything is accepted by the insurance company, everything is accepted by the TPA, everything is accepted by the insurance company, and then after a month or say 15 days or a month, you get the payment as 10,000 deduction. Which doctor can give a call back? A hospital can have its employee or its TPA coordinator deduct that amount from the deposit taken. But which individual doctor can give a call back to the patient and tell them that I have not received this money, so you please come and back to the hospital and pay us, and which patient is going to pay that? So that eventually amounts to losses of the hospital. Submission of correct documents to the TPA insurance companies. The hidden facts by the patient, doctor, hospital. Now here, the insurance policy is a contract only between the patient and the insurance company. The doctor is nowhere in the picture. But the doctor is blamed for everything. If the medical notes are not written properly, if there are certain facts hidden, either by the doctor also, I'm not saying that doctors don't hide facts, but you should not. But the basic problem is that from the inception of the policy itself, if it is well defined that there are certain pre-disclosures which are mandatory to be made by the patient and not made, then who is to be blamed? See, everybody can go to a consumer court for everything. But do we really have the time to do all this? So this is actually a gray zone as to who is hiding the facts. Whether it is patient who's hiding the fact, whether it is doctor who's hiding the fact to have his own benefit, or whether it is hospital who's involved in hiding the facts. So nobody can be blamed for it, but the process has to be started from the inception of the policy itself. What process has to be followed, that the insurance company has to decide. In case of an individual patient, it is the responsibility of the patient to submit everything to the hospital, but most of the times they come with incomplete documents and agents not traceable to submit the documents. In case of corporate patients, they come with cards where copay. Now, copay is a certain thing which is mostly applicable to corporate patients. There are very few individual policies where, 5-10% of copay is mentioned. But if that amount is mentioned in an individual policy, then it is mentioned in the policy document which is there either with the patient or his agent. But in case of corporate patients, the copay amount is never mentioned on the card, the health ID card given by the insurance company or the TPA. Now it is just one small line which needs to be added below the health ID card, which we have had discussions with all the private insurance companies to do it, but none of the private insurance companies are agreeing to it, because based on that you can decide what amount of deposit can be taken from the patient. Because when the patient comes with only a card, you don't have the policy documents with you with the terms and conditions. So you really do not know whether any deposit has to be taken and how much deposit has to be taken. So your tussle starts from there. And you've admitted the patient, you've started treating the patient's billing is all ready, and you get the initial approval probably, in which straight away you get 25% co-pay. Now at that point of a time, neither you can go back and stop the treatment. Your discussion starts with the patient from that now you'll have to shell out this amount of money, because we cannot provide you complete cashless, because that is the amount that is to be paid by you as per your policy terms and condition. But the patient is not aware of it. Then the HR starts giving you a call, the HR head starts giving you a call, and everybody wants to do some adjustments around that amount. Why? So in case of an individual policy, mostly there are no pressures.